Hi, it's Cara and welcome to another reading vlog. We haven't done one of these in a while, but there is a readathon going this month. It's called the Hamilthon and takes inspiration from the Broadway show Hamilton, which I love. So essentially there's 5 or 6 different 5-book tracks, like 5 prompt tracks to get to each of your main characters following like different songs. So I'm going to be participating. I'm going to do 1 track. If I get more read, I get more read. Like, I expect to read more than 5 books, but I'm only going to really participate for the 5. And I've picked 5 books that all meet the 5 challenges that were kind of already on my TBR anyway. And I'm going to vlog each of those 5. So I'm even kind of actually doing it in reverse. So I'm doing the Burr track, and I'm pretty sure the final book on the Burr track is Wait For It, which is a book that you've been highly anticipating. So that's what this vlog's going to be, and you know what it is by the title, because it's going to be like this book, reading vlog, Hamilthon, and it's also the name of the book. It's book club pick of the month of March, and that is Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. So this will be a semi-spoilery reading vlog. We'll see how it turns out. I'm not going to be strictly spoiler free, but I'm not going to go too overboard, so I guess it depends on what your definition of a spoiler is. So it is currently the 1st of March. It's a Friday. If you didn't know that the 1st of March was a Friday. Oh my god, what am I doing with my life? I've got home from work. I've just filmed a bunch of videos. By a bunch I mean 2. My February wrap-up and my February haul, which will be going up over the next week. And I'm about to settle in for my afternoon evening of reading. And this chunker beast is going to be it. She thick is what I've heard a lot of people referring to this book as, and they are correct. It's huge. This copy, everyone's like 900 pages. This copy is like 830 if you count the timeline and the like all the appendix stuff, which is in here. There's like the actual story finishes at like 804 in this copy, so 800 pages, but they're tall pages, so this is bigger than my head in just its front face, so they're big pages. 800 quite chunky pages. I'm so excited about it though. I've read 1 chapter. I read it yesterday actually. I read that 1 chapter, like split out among the morning and the evening, but forgot to film this intro. Yeah, I'm literally 1 chapter in and I'm already like low-key hooked. Like, the first chapter was really interesting. Anyway, this is going to be a reading vlog just until this is over. We'll just do this book, and then like the next vlog will be the next book, and so on and so forth. So there'll be 5 vlogs up this month. Spoiler alert, the other books are gonna be The Bear and the Nightingale. I can't remember what challenge that fulfills, but I'll let you know when we get to that. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, Jade City by Fonda Lee, and Daisy Jones and the Six. It was originally going to be Clariel, but I've changed my mind. It's going to be Daisy Jones and the Six. So they're the 5 videos you can expect to see from me this month. They're all going to be reading vlogs, all the same format. You're going to be hearing about these books in a lot of detail. So that's your Hamilthon content from me, and also my normal content, because I'm a lazy shit. This is what you're going to get. I'm really excited about all of these. I am so excited. There's probably other books I'll read during the month, but like, I'm so excited for these. I'm a little bit upset because this won't even fit in my book bag. I think I have 1 book bag that would fit in, but I can't find that particular bag. So I can't take this to work at the moment, or at least not to my like day job where it's likely to get like bashed around. So I will probably have another book on the go at the same time that I can take to work. But anyway, it's a chunker. I will check in with you later. I'm only 2 chapters in and I already have things to share. So like, I've read a chapter since we were talking. So we're currently following 2 perspectives, West and East. Obviously East is like kind of Asian inspired, and we were following Tane and Tane, like, she's still very mysterious, but she's obviously got something going on. She had to be in seclusion, but she screwed that up for herself. And she was like, found a guy, and I didn't have that much to contribute then, because I feel like we didn't get enough of that perspective. We started to see the dragons, but it was very mysterious, like it was very prologue-y. But then we went into chapter 2, and oh my god, chapter 2. We follow the west in chapter 2, and we're following Ede. And Ede is a southern girl who is like lady of the privy for the queen of the west, and she's like hunting down like a series of assassins, and oh my god, it's so good. So I'm about to go to bed, but I just read another chapter of this. I think I got cut off earlier because I had to run. I'm now at chapter 4, so I'm like 35 pages in, and I've been kind of busy tonight, so I haven't read that much. But this last chapter, we really got to see more from Tana. And Tana's training to be a dragon rider. Oh, this is so good. You can really see like, it does specifically say at the start, because it is obviously a white writer writing this, like, culturally diverse world, and it's not meant to be accurate representations of anything, but you can really see the like influence of, so there's kind of like 2 lots of dragons. So in the east there seems to be like these dragon riders that ride dragons, and these big beautiful mythical things that are very intelligent, and they get along really well. They work with humans, and it's kind of positive. And then which kind of is representative of like the oriental dragon, and then in the west is much more like a medieval style fantasy, and in that area there was a dragon, I think, that was evil and ruined everything. And you can kind of see how the 2 different groups have a very different cultural opinion of dragons. It's really interesting. I still think Ede so far is my favourite character, but Tane is growing on me. And I'm only 3 chapters in, so there's so much more to go. It's 1:30 Saturday night, Sunday morning, I guess, and I have read about 150 pages of the Priory of the Orange Tree, so I'm getting there. I'm loving it so far. I think my favourite character is Ede, probably closely followed by Kit, who I think is hilarious. He's just a funny guy. I think Sabrin is a little messy, and I like it. Lotha's a little righteous, and I like it. Sulian and Suliard and Trude are gonna like get themselves messed up. I can tell, but I'm loving them all so much. It's so good. Oh, and I love Tana. I feel like I just haven't had enough from Tana yet. I don't really feel connected to her thread yet, because it's really kind of sitting separate to everyone else's, whereas everyone else's seem connected, but you can see how it's going to play in. But at the moment I just don't feel quite as attached to Tana yet. You can tell it's gonna happen. And I'm just, oh, it's so good. I'm enjoying it so much. So I finished work, came home, showered, read a graphic novel, I have to go to the supermarket, and then I start work again at 4:30. So I feel like all I've done is work all weekend, but tomorrow's Monday, and I technically kind of have the day off. I have like a half day off, and I'm working from home, and my car's going in to get serviced. So I'm hopeful to read a lot. I think I should go to the supermarket, and then I'm gonna dive back in to Priory, because I'm loving it, if I didn't like rave about it enough last night. I think I forgot to mention it last night, but there was this scene And I think it's kind of what's depicted on the front cover of the book. And the dragon, Firedel, that's how I want to pronounce his name, comes down onto the castle of Innis, and Sabrin walks out to meet him like a fucking idiot. And Ead's protecting her, and oh my god, that was such a good scene. Just the setup and the positioning, and just, I freaking love Ead. Ead is my fucking favorite. I can't wait to keep reading. Oh my god, I've been doing chores. I still haven't sat down to read yet. I promise. I'm about to do it now. I should be reading, but look what's distracted me. Oh, she's so cute. Yeah. See, it's right there. But she's right here. Oh, will you let me give you a kiss? Or she let me. She let me. What's up? Yeah. Look at that snoot. Boop. Ooh, bitch. We just got the reveal of Domnata Morosa Vitalda. Oh, bitch. So if we're following, obviously. Did I mention earlier this was spoilers? You should just say here, and I'll insert it earlier. Spoilers exist in this video. It should say spoilers on the lineup, you know. It'll say it up there. And the Kit and Loth are in Isklin, and Isklin's under draconic rule. They worship the Nameless One, and we've just had the reveal from Domnata that they're actually like just being taken over, and she's trying to get out of it from the bottom, but she's in the public eye. Looks like she worships the Nameless One because she's got her. And so now we're really gonna see where Loth and Kit's plotline's gonna get real interesting. So keen. Things are starting to ramp up, and I'm loving it. I really want to see what Tana's point of view is going to ramp up to there. I feel like that's the one piece that's like still dragging behind a little, like it's less developed than everything else. But now Loth and Kit are really like, they're making a lot more sense now, and it's so exciting. So I'm about to go to bed, but I just wanted to update you. This book is divided into 6 sections, I guess, and I'm this far through and I've just finished the first section, which is the longest section. So many things have happened since I last updated. Like, oh my god, we're starting to see the hint of the female romance, and I am living for it, like, so much. My son, Kit, poor freaking Kit, he was my favorite. Like, we hardly knew him, but I loved him so much. He was so sweet, and now, that made me mad. Could have just stayed the F behind. Your loyalty gets you in trouble. Clearly, I'm mad about it. That was a quick scene, and I am very upset. I like Loth, but Kit was just too sweet. Why did you do that to him? Sabrin just got married, and they had their, like, bedchamber thing. So dramatic and shit. But now Ead's the lady of the bedchamber, and I can't wait. Can't wait to see where this extends. I really like what's happening in Isklin, is that how it's pronounced? The place that Loth went to. Loth and Kit went to. With their dragon worship, and I like how it's contextualized differently to the dragon worship in the East. And I really like how that's, like, dealt with when like the people from Innis like don't get the difference at all. But it's obviously really obvious. Again, I still really want to know how Tana fits in. She's kind of had her little arc to becoming a dragon rider. She's now a dragon rider. But I feel like hers is the one story so far that doesn't tie well into everything else, whereas Kit and Loth's story, you could understand how that tied in, and their stuff with the what's her name, the Domnora, and in that area in Iskalin, and you could totally get how Eid's thing all fit in, and you can even understand how Nikolai's and the young guy, Trude's lover, fit in. That all made so much sense, but I still don't get how Tana fits in, and I'm looking forward to see how that ties into the story, but like we're 250 pages in, like I'm waiting impatiently for it. But Eid is still my fave. Eid and Sabrin are beautiful. I love them so much, and I'm loving this. I thought I had this like. Before starting, I was convinced I would be the most confused human on the planet reading this. I don't read big fantasy very often. I love it. But like the last complex one, like really complex, I can't think of one I've read since Game of Thrones. And when I read all of the Song of Ice and Fire series, I'd watched the first series of the TV show, so I at least knew who the main characters were. So I wasn't there like, oh my god, who are you? I don't understand. And this has like a dramatis personae at the end in the glossary, like a list of characters with all the like descriptions of how they relate to everyone else. And I was sure I would have to use it all the time, but I really don't. I haven't really referred to it at all. I've read through the glossary of terms in like a vague sense, so that if there was anything that stood out, I would then also be able to like think back, oh hang on, that was in the glossary, and I looked over the timeline, which was really informative. I led to that, but I couldn't be bothered reading through every single person mentioned in the dramatis personae, and so I just skipped it. And I haven't even needed to refer back to it really, because I'm able to keep track, which I was very concerned I wouldn't be, because I don't read high fantasy with like this many characters often enough. But it's really well done. Everyone has a good voice and a really strong like sense of identity, and they're really not being confused at all, which is amazing. Like, thank the Lord. Oh bitch, we're just finding out some stuff about how the two types of dragons like intersect. And Trude had this theory that the evil like western dragons came from the earth, and that the eastern dragons came from the sky, and that they had to be in balance, hence why the eastern dragons are around when the western dragons have died, but the western dragons are rising and the eastern clever. I'm just so impressed. This is like the balance between the two different like where we get these little threads of information from all these different stuff. Masterful. I'm really enjoying this. I'm currently on page 284. I'm hoping to get to like page 500 today, because I'm not really working. I kind of have the day off. So I'm really optimistic I can get through a lot of it today. I still have to do dishes and some other houseworky stuff, but other than that, I want to read most of the day. And I'm really excited. God, I hate my goddamn sweaty hands. I've been trying to keep this book so pristine, but can you see? Can you see? Whenever there's freaking gilded fronts, my sweaty hands just take off the gild. Like, I have books that are stripped of the gold foil on the front cover because my sweaty hands just... Ugh, I'm so mad. Oh well. Can't help it. Nothing I can do. Anyway, I am 300 pages in now. I want to read another like 200 pages today. I don't know if that's achievable because it is now midday. But I'm about to go buy some lunch and then come back, eat, do a load of dishes, and then read all afternoon. And hopefully I can finish that 200 pages. Is my goal. Yep, that's the goal. Okay, I better go if I'm gonna achieve this. Better go get some food, eat, and do dishes. So I was gonna show you. Look, our oven is freaking broken. This is meant to have that in it, but everything like fell off last night and we've wang jangled it together as best we could. I'm gonna try and fix this tonight, but like, sorry, my kitchen is a mess. But like, I'm very frustrated. Anyway, I just finished washing dishes. Because we don't have a dishwasher. I fucking wish. But now I'm commitment free and I'm about to sit down and read. And I hope to get through this afternoon, ideally all 200 pages, but I'm going to aim for 100 at first. And then maybe I'll do like 100, stop to eat the jam donut I bought with lunch, and then go for the next 100. Maybe. I think I'm here pretty much by myself till like 6-ish. So that's like another 5 hours. If I can't read at least 100 pages in 5 hours, what am I doing? 150 would be like, 200 would be amazing. 150 would be like, good job me, can probably read 50 after dinner. So let's aim for 150 minimum. 100, then I can eat a donut. Oh my god, what just happened? That just got so intense. The poor dragon, oh my god. Susa and Tana and Suliad, and I'm having emotions, people. This is really, this book knows how to pull the tension right at the moments where it like pulls the rug out from under you and you're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm upset. Okay, I'm gonna go back to reading now. Okay, I'm on 387. I just have to say, we just ended a sex scene. A very gentle sex scene. And the very last line of the paragraph before we move into a different section is, let them come. Not in that context, but it's just really ironic. Like, it's saying, like, let the villains come do their worst. But just the fact that it's, like, sex scene, and then the final line is, let them come. Oh, oh my gosh. Also, I'm a bit concerned this could get a bit, like, unhealthy, this relationship. But we'll see how it goes. I'm concerned, but only in that you can tell Sabrin's having a lot of mental health problems. It's like actively stated, and I don't know if Ede will put too much of herself in, like harm herself for the benefit of Sabrin. Not sure. We'll see. We'll see. Holy cow! I just reached 400 pages, part 3. So much shit went down at the end of the last section. I'm interested to see in section 4 who will be keeping up. I want to say like keeping up with the Kardashians, keeping up with the Baratheons. Like obviously we don't have our POV in NS anymore, but who will take over for that? Because I feel like we still have to have Sabrin's story, but Ede had been telling Sabrin's story so far, so maybe Sabrin's gonna take on her own, like it's not first person, but it's like closed point of view third. So I'm interested to see who's going to be continuing Sabrin's story in the third section, because I'm assuming for at least this whole section Ede's going to be in at the Priory. So we're going to see Loth and Ede at the Priory. Nicholas is on the pirate ship. The Eastern Dragon, the Western Dragons are stirring. Everything is interesting. Everything is so interesting. I have a lot of feelings. I still want to see. So Tana's perspective kind of served a brief purpose. To like connect Nicholas with the dragon and have the dragon escape, like end up where it is. But I really want to know now that Tana's in prison. Presumably that's not the end of her perspective. So what further role is she going to play? I'm interested. I'm sad for Sabrin. I'm sad for Eid. And I still feel sad about Kitson, and that was like 150 pages ago. So I have feelings. Anyway, I'm going to eat a donut now, and then I'm going to keep reading. Well, it was just revealed how Tana's storyline ties in, and that makes a lot of sense. That answers a lot of questions. Going down. So I forgot to update last night before I went to bed because I'm trash. I got to, as I walked to my car on the way home, it is now after work on Tuesday, I got to page 510 last night before I went to bed. I think it was like 512 or something like that. Not quite 520, but more than 510, somewhere in there. Like one chapter into the next section, which I think is section 4. And just let me tell you, it's windy. That's what I'm going to tell you. I am loving this so much. Like, I feel like all I'm doing is gushing about it, but it's so good. Like, it's so good. I'm literally going to go home and try and read like 150 pages because it's so good. We had like a brief section where Eid was stuck in the south, which was sad because she was away from Sabrin. And you know how I was asking? I asked, how do you reckon we're going to get Sabrin's point of view when Eid's not there? Answer is we don't. That's the short answer. And long answer is give it 100 pages and Eid will be back. So that's what we're up to. She's got Loth with her, which I'm excited about. And she's back to trying to figure out, like, get rid of the cupbearer who's out to kill Sabrin, like Sabrin's assassins. And we still have to try and figure out how to get rid of the dragons long term. But Eid has, so there's these 2 gems, right? What am I saying? You know this if you're listening to all this spoilers. So we know that Tana has one of the gems now, and in fact had it her whole life. Eid has the other one because she like merged with it when she found it in the dungeon, whatever. And so I'm excited to see when they're gonna join forces to solve this problem. I also bought some books today, so you can have a quick look at those when we get home. But anyway, I'm gonna drive home and pay my water bill and start reading. But when I get home, I'll show you what I bought. I do have work tonight from 10, so which could mean I read more, could mean I read less. My minimum goal is 100 pages, 110 actually, which will get me to stay on track for 130 pages per day in March, like on average. 110 will keep me on track, but my secret goal is to get to 150, because if I get to 150, I should be able to finish this tomorrow. If I only get through 100, I'm going to be finishing it Thursday, so just in kind of a I want to know what happens at the end, I want to try and read 150 tonight. We will see what happens. I don't know what'll happen. Let's see. I got home. I was going to show you my books, but then Jesse got home and he was showing me memes, as happens. And then we went out for dinner, got home, showered, read a tiny bit, forgot to update, ended up at work, kept reading. I'm now 623 pages in, so I'm closer to the end than the beginning now, muchly. I'm hoping to finish it tomorrow or the next. I've definitely finished it the next day, but if I'm lucky I might finish it tomorrow. A lot has happened. There are a lot of reveals of like Caliber and what's going on there. That was fascinating. Eid and Sabrin's little romantic candle dance got me in the feels. And then now Eid has been poisoned and is like lying on a deathbed or whatever, so you know, fun times. And Loth's about to go to the east and try and broker this deal to try and defeat the Nameless One, and I'm just so invested. Like, I just wanted to devour this, but it's like 1 AM and I need to sleep, so never mind, tomorrow. So it is probably kind of obvious, but I'm only going to move my car and it's not much time. But when I had this genuine fear with this 800-page beast of a novel that not much would happen. Like, that it would be very character driven and that the plot would struggle to move the story forward in any sufficient way. And it was a big fear of mine. I'm like, 1,000 pages and I've got to commit to character building for 1,000 pages, but no, so much has goddamn happened in this novel. I'm just constantly like, it's like when you get to September and you're like, every week felt like I was plotting at a normal pace. But I think to January, and it seems both a million miles away and like no time has passed at the exact same time. That's how I feel about this book. It's defying the laws of physics. So, just wanted to share that. So I've come home from work. I've got to cook dinner tonight and shower tonight because I have to be at work ridiculously early in the morning. But it's still only like just after 5. So I'm going to start working on the Priory of the Orange Tree. Why am I calling it like in a weird way? Like, yes, this whole vlog is about Priory of the Orange Tree. Theoretically, I could finish it tonight if I worked really hard, but I don't think it'll happen. We will see. So I just got home from work. It is Thursday afternoon. Had a big day at work today. I started really early. Am I sunburned on my nose again? I have yoga in a couple of hours, an hour-ish. Cat wasn't expecting that. I'm gonna try and, I have about 90 pages left of Priory. I'm gonna try and finish it like right now. And then I think I'll do a big long couple of minutes discussion with you. In the car, I thought about calling it a gush discuss. Yeah, so I'm gonna go finish it because I feel like I need the whole story to then like go over everything with you. Oh my god, if freaking Margaret or Tharian die in this goddamn battle and don't get married, I'm gonna be mad. Oh my god, this bitch getting struck by lightning. Like, yes. So I'm about to go to bed, but I finished the Priory of the Orange Tree a few hours ago, and I wanted to do the gush discussion that I mentioned. Look how much I've destroyed. I'm really bad with books. I don't like intentionally crack spines most of the time, but especially with a big book and if it's a bit of a hard spine, your girl gonna crack it by accident at least. 100% what happened here. Like, look at that curvature. Whoa, boy. all the edges have all like browned because my hands are sweaty bombers, and like you can tell the writing on the front's coming off. Oh my god. But anyway, I'm never going to want to pass this on because this is amazing. So it looks well loved because it is well loved. I'll give it to friends to read, but I'm not going to like send it on, like sell it. I think I've taken off some of the scales on the dragon. Whoops. So I wanted to like do a kind of wrap up what I thought of the book as a whole now that I'm done. Kind of cap this vlog off. So I'll kind of go through all the different sections, I guess, as I would do in a review. Characters. By far, my favourite point of view character, Ede. I think it's set up like that though, because she's the central focus. A lot of the storyline focuses around Ede's arc. Least favourite character, likeable wise, Nicholas. That's kind of obvious though. He's kind of a bit of a grey antagonisty character. Least favourite character connection wise, which I feel like is a problem with, a very slight problem that her backstory seems less developed, is Tana. I love her, but I feel like her character was a little less developed compared to, say, Sabrin and Ede and Nicholas and Loth. I just feel like I understood them all a lot deeper than I understood her. I think a lot of it was because her backstory is kind of set long before the plot, like narrative plot. So it's more in flashbacks than in first person actually happening. And she interacts with less people. So her world felt a little less rich because she's a bit more of a loner. I didn't hate her by any means. Like, I didn't dislike her. I just felt less connected to her than the others. Plot-wise, I really, really enjoyed it. I liked that although this was a, like, beast, the plot kept pace throughout. I didn't think it was slow. I think it was pretty consistent. There was a good balance between character building and plot, which I was glad about. I was a bit concerned it would be heavy on the character building, and it wasn't. Like, it still had a lot, but it was kind of through plot, and there's actually forward momentum of the plot and twists and turns and things were happening. I guess perhaps my one fault with the plot is that I think the end game right at the end was perhaps a little rushed, but then again I did play really well like a movie in my head, so just like for the proportion of the book, it was like little bit of intros, you get to know all the characters, a large proportion of middle, and a little bit of end. Like all the ending happened, the big climax all happened in like the last 50 pages of this 900-page book. But I was never bored throughout the middle. It was a very strong middle, just that the end was a little quick. So the payoff seemed a little easy. That was what I mean. Like the majority of the conflict was happening in the middle proportion, like the act 2, rather than the big fight scene at the end kind of thing, even though there was a big fight scene at the end. But most of your twists and turns were happening in the middle, not in the fight scene. The fight scene kind of went somewhat predictably. World building and atmosphere. Loved the world. I can kind of understand, like, she specifically says at the start, there's the author's note about how this doesn't aim to be accurate representation of any group. And it shouldn't be taken that way because it's a fantasy, but obviously any fantasy world has to be inspired by something. You can't just pull something out of thin air. When you do, it tends to not be relatable. But I think perhaps, and she's British, so you can't, like, I think it would be worse if she had a bit more world building in the, like, East Asian influenced area. It was probably underdeveloped slightly, whereas the medieval setting was well developed. But obviously it would be worse if she tried to develop it and developed it really poorly through, like, inaccurate understanding of what's going on. But I really liked the way, like, the mythology of the world worked and how that tied into the current times. I think that was really clever. And I think that really, like, because it was integral to the story, but also to the world, and it could have been integral to the story, but just kind of tangential to the world, but it wasn't. I really liked that. It played a big role in the world as well as the current plot. Then writing style. I really like Samantha Shannon's writing style, and I always have. Like, I've liked her other stuff. I think it worked really well in a fantasy setting. Obviously, the other one's like an urban alternate universe fantasy kind of thing. This, I think, worked really, really well. Perhaps the only thing that might bother some people is that the long scenes with a lot of focus tend to be the character building scenes, and the action sequences tend to be shorter in written length. I know sometimes, like, I think short is better to a degree, because things are happening fast, but sometimes it seemed a little skipped over, like the action sequences. And I guess there were, some time jumps and things where boring things would happen, but also some time jumps where major plot points happened that were then described later based on because of the limited point of views to the handful of people. So if none of them were there, plot got skipped, and then explained later, which I actually liked. I thought that was clever because it meant we were following these characters and you found out things when they found out things. But yeah, there were some action sequences where you would imagine in something like Game of Thrones, these big sequences would have happened. In this, we get them as like a, yes, this did happen. There's some like telling rather than showing in some of the action events. But I personally really liked that. Like, it was a style that I thought really lent itself to the story and the kind of like mythological within this world kind of thing. Like, this is this big epic in this world even. And it read like this, like a new not mythology, but like kind of like an Arthurian kind of, this is happening but it's going to be big, like a big legend. So I didn't mind that at all, but that could definitely bother some people. I think if that's not your kind of thing, I think it could bother people. I think the diversity was decently good, considering obviously Samantha Shannon's a white author, so her POC rep across the board is obviously not own voices, and probably could be done better by an own voices person, probably. Her queer rep I really liked. I thought I ship Sabrin and Ian so much, like they're amazing. And I love that Sabrin's unabashedly, her mental health is not good and she doesn't try and like butter it up, or somehow claim that Eid can like fix it. Eid's just there to support her. I really liked that, so I thought that was good. I thought the queer stuff was good. And this like moving forward progressive feminist stuff was amazing. In this already kind of like somewhat feminist world, it's kind of like there are like a queendom and every ruler is a queen, except they're also just this vehicle to carry the next queen, not their own person to an extent. And I kind of liked that, how I was like, we're progressive, we're queens, but also we're backwards because we're really only there to have a baby. And a lot in this world was tied into motherhood. And Sabrin obviously has a miscarriage and then can't have more children, or can't have the heir she's meant to have. And that kind of throws everything out in that regards. And I really liked that. I thought that was like obviously awful, but very open up the way for this progressive kind of thinking and feminism. Great. I think maybe it could have been a bit more intersectional in its feminism, but it wasn't actively not. Like, it wasn't like white person feminism, but it didn't explicitly like scream its intersectionality. So, I guess Sabrin's queer, but I really enjoyed my experience reading this. I feel like I've been reading it for a long time. I have, but like each day I was reading a good chunk, and there was so much that happened. There's so much plot in this. Like, there's just a lot that happens. And all of it was interesting all the way through, and I just had a good time. This is like my first, is it my first 5-star read of the year? Let me have a look. I'm trying to think if I've rated anything else so far this year 5 stars. Let's look at my book. Have I rated anything 5 stars? I've done a lot of like 4.5s and 4.75s. 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4, 3, 3, 3. I've literally only rated 2 things so far this year 5 stars. No, 3 things. So far, I've rated, in all of the year so far, so we're in March, I rated Sabriel, which is the first in the Old Kingdom Chronicles, 5 stars. I've rated Crooked Kingdom, 5 stars. I've rated The Gilded Wolves, 5 stars. I loved that. That was amazing. Can't fault that. And I rated... No, that was it. Those are the only ones. And, like, I haven't done my official rating for Priory yet. I've still got to, like, write my written review and calculate my categories. But I'm pretty confident this is a 5 star. I loved my experience so much. It was so good. I can understand why some people might not like this, though. Like, I don't think it's for everyone. Oh, a thing I did want to mention was that, for me, the glossary was more confusing than not. And I don't think it's the kind of book that really needs the glossary. So it kind of has in the glossary, it's kind of got like a multiple appendix. It's got a list of characters with like brief descriptions of who they all are. It has a glossary of terms and a like timeline. I think the only one that I thought was actually useful was the timeline. And in fact, the glossary of terms made me more confused because I was introduced to concepts early, because I tend to read a glossary right at the start. But there were concepts introduced that I didn't get explained in context, so then I was more confused about. And the glossary of people, like the list of people, just was too much for my little brain to dig in without actually knowing anything about these people in context. So my recommendation, if you're watching this and plan to read Priory but have never read it yet, but why would you? Because you've like, this is full of spoilers. I'll write it in my written review at any rate. If you're wanting to go into this and you are familiar with fantasy, I think, or even, I don't even know, I don't think I'd read any of the appendix unless you specifically got stuck on a particular character, like you came across a character that you were like, we've mentioned them before, I should know who they are, but I can't remember, I can't tie them in. Go check them, but look specifically for them, look them up, go back. And a particular term that if it gets used a couple of times and you feel like you should understand the context and you're like, I'm confused, then go look it up. I don't think you should go and scour the appendix early. I think that's a bad idea. Just from my experience, because I am that person. I'm like straight to the index, to the appendix, because surely there's something in there I need. Otherwise, why would it be there? You don't need to know the definition of all the terms once you're done, but this is definitely one I would recommend just looking when you need it. But anyway, yeah, that's the end of this vlog. This is the first vlog of the Hamilthon, and fulfilled the challenge for Wait For It, which was a book that you are highly anticipating, which I was, and it was great. I'm so glad I read this, and yeah, it's kind of out of order because this would have been the last challenge if you work your way up on the challenge thing, but we'll get all 5 done, don't you worry. So stay tuned for my next reading vlog. I think next I'll be reading The Bear and the Nightingale, so keep an eye out for that. Anyway, I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!